Well, good morning. It is time to start our National Zoom property tour. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking an hour of your morning out to plug in with us wherever you're coming from today. We're so excited that you've joined us. We are a national community of investors. We do these property tours every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we get to feature an investor or a team of investors from our community from somewhere here in the United States. And it's always exciting to bring an investor out. Mr. Ryan Dodge, we've had him out before on one of our property tours, but he's got a really cool deal to share with everybody. And we're going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Dodge. Again, my name is Scott Buchholz. I am your host. We also have Mr. Keith Jones on, who will co-host today. So Ryan, can you go ahead and turn your computer on so we can get things rolling?
I am here, my friend.
All right, let's see if we can see your picture.
I am here.
We see you and we hear you loud and clear. Well, welcome, my brother. Good morning. Good morning. We're so glad you've joined us and you're sharing your deal today. I don't know if you heard me on the introduction. So we'll have some people on today, Ryan, that are kind of plugging in today that could be a guest, someone that's never actually seen anything from our community. And so they're learning about our community. They're checking out this property tour. So it's always good to kick off and let everybody get to know the featured investor and a little bit about kind of your background and why you decided to become an investor. And also the big thing is, why did you connect with this community? So go ahead, Ryan. I'm going to turn it over to you, sir.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. You know, it's a good thing that I was going to start with my story anyways, right? You guys, everybody that puts this together is a servant leader. Nobody is paid to put this on. I'm not paid to be here. We're all just servant leaders. We genuinely care about people. And by the way, that was one thing that, out of several that I love about this community. All right, you give up on yourself before anybody gives up on you. So my background, look, growing up, I watched my dad hate his job, come home, take it out on his family. I'm not saying I grew up broke. I grew up in a middle-class family. And then he'd come home and take it out on his friend Jim Beam and what's the other one? Jose Cuervo. And so anyways, moving forward, my dad had to move to Indiana. Corporate Chrysler, you know how the corporate world is. They're like, hey, you're either going to move here and finish out your career for the next 3 years in Indiana, or you could stay where I'm from, O'Fallon, Missouri, and you could take $300,000 in a brand new Ram truck. My dad made the right decision. He finished out his career for his retirement. I wasn't moving to Indiana. There's no way. And so, like I said, I grew up in O'Fallon, Missouri. What is a Missouri boy going to do in Indiana? All right. And so I went into the military. I was like, I got to do something with my life. I need a pivotal moment. So that being said, it was the most pivotal moment of my entire life. And anybody else here that served this nation, I want to say thank you for your service as well. I did 4.5 years, United States Army Infantry, did a year in combat. I made E5 sergeant in 3 years, first time go air assault. I had a really, really robust experience and it was fun. All right. And so what I was tired of in the Army was checking my bank account. You know, you break out your USAA app. Oh, you want to go out with the boys? Check your bank account. You want to buy equipment that the military is supposed to provide you anyways, but they're slacking, so you got to go pay for it? Check your bank account. It's just, I check my bank account all the time. It was ridiculous. So getting out after serving honorably, I knew that I was not going to be doing that anymore. And I knew that I wasn't going to go to a job that I hated. All right. So time freedom and financial freedom was on my mind. And I give myself credit here. I knew that business ownership was the way. I didn't come from a lick of experience in business at all. I was just a C student in high school, out there partying every weekend. I'm not special. I'm not talking down on myself either. I got some good things about me as well. But anyways, I knew business was the key. So what does an average person do? I have a degree hanging on my wall right here. business administration with a focus in entrepreneurship. And understand, whenever I got out of the Army, I was at the lowest point of my life. I went from leading troops to leading my couch. It was a depressing time for me. And sorry, that's an emotional thing right there, because you think about all the other veterans out there in the world. And you guys, if you look at just the statistics on retirement, when somebody retires, the suicide rate is very, very high. All right, just retirement, doesn't matter from what job. So I went from leading troops to leading my couch. All right, while I was going to school, I got further depressed because I realized that they were only trying to teach me how to be a good employee. I'm there to learn business, but they're teaching me how to be a good employee. And matter of fact, none of my professors have ever even owned a business. Here's a good lesson in life that I've learned. I'm not going to take advice from anybody that I wouldn't trade places with. That does not mean trading spouses. That means, like, look, if somebody hasn't done more deals than me, I'm not going to feed my brain with what they're trying to coach a guy like me on. I'm going to go listen to the individual that's done more deals than I have. All right. And so in our community, one thing that I loved whenever I was checking it out, the most skeptical person in the world, I got hung up on when I first talked to somebody. But everybody that you learn from is a practitioner. That means that they lead by example. That's massive for a guy like me. And you know what? I'm gonna give myself some credit again. I knew that I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole. Anybody know what the rabbit hole is? That's the books, podcasts, forums, YouTube. I have met so many people that have been YouTubing for over 10 years and still have not done a deal. Giving myself credit here, I knew that it was going to be conflicting information. Somebody in here is saying, you're right, Ryan. You got one guy in this video saying this thing. You have another guy in this video saying another thing. They're holding up their checks, but they're not showing you the HUD statements. There's a lot of fake it to make it in this industry as well. So that's a rabbit hole. All right. I got started with this community because they have direct paths to the type of transactions that you want to execute. All right. I am so rich in relationships. I do all my deals with none of my own money and none of my own credit because of this community. I got a guy up in Seattle that funds my deals. I have a girl in St. Louis that funds my deals. I did my first fix and flip within the first year, which was 30K in profit. And talk about this coming into my life by the grace of God. The first family that I ever helped prevent foreclosure for was my own parents. Because my dad worked his entire life to retire on that fixed income and barely make ends meet. One huge medical problem happened in his life, and then my family couldn't pay the bills. Took it over subject to existing financing, because you got to be squared away, even more so whenever you're working with family. I was a wild child, folks, but it sure paid off. Mama loves me, all right? But I prevented that foreclosure. We profited $30,000, put some new Mickey Thompson tires on my truck, paid back some investors, gave the rest of the money to mom and dad because they really, really needed it. Moving into my second year, I picked up a 14-unit apartment complex, and I'm not even a numbers guy. Like, I don't even, multifamily is kind of boring to me. It's great passive income. So if I can pick up a 14-unit apartment complex after, reviewing the block of instruction on that, it's safe to say probably any of you can. Moving forward after that, I've been part of this community for 7 years now, and I'm at 229 verifiable real estate transactions. Now that includes partnering. That includes anything that has to do with the real estate deal that put money in my pocket, that has to do with me transacting it. All right. So it's not just me, it's partnerships as well. Now, fix and flip is my favorite strategy out of them all. It's probably an emotional thing, wouldn't you say? Help my own parents, prevent that foreclosure. I'm an emotional investor. I'm going to tell all of you that right now. This community is what gave me my sense of purpose back. I feel better than I ever have in my entire life. I'm still on a battlefield, guys. I'm just on the battlefield of killing the designed ignorance in this nation. That's the battlefield that I'm on. So my sense of purpose is back. not just helping people in real estate to learn real estate investing so they can help other people, but, distressed sellers. I'm not very motivated to work with individuals that are selling their homes that aren't really motivated. I love working with individuals that have serious real estate problems. And what sets me apart from the YouTube babies, or sets our community apart from the YouTube babies, is whenever I first talk to that distressed seller, I don't have dollar signs in my eyes. Like, I approach it with my heart. I approach it with, hey, we need to solve your real estate problem. And usually 90% of the time, it's a win-win situation to where I'm making some money too. There have been plenty of times where I've helped distressed sellers. Maybe it's negotiate a loan modification, give them the steps to, prevent foreclosure, make sure that doesn't go on their credit for the next 10 years of your life. I mean, you can't finance a pair of shoes in Texas after a foreclosure. You can't even get an apartment in Austin, Texas if you have a foreclosure under record. It's insane. All right. So that's a really damaging scenario. And there's been times where I've helped and the seller's like, hey, Ryan, how much money do I owe you? I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Just if somebody has a real estate problem, could you put my name in the hat? I've had a lot of referral business that way because I'm not everybody's best option. Everybody take notes. Hear me loud on this. This is the first thing I say to a distressed seller. Hey, I might not be your best option, but I can be your most convenient option. And if that doesn't work, I'm still going to help you. And I'm being dead serious about that, folks. If I'm not their best option, I'm still going to help them. If they have equity, if their home is in amazing shape, I'm not sitting there trying to negotiate. I'm not trying to make a deal appear out of thin air. No, I have a heart. I care about their situation. And so I pass that over to my agent, Brian Adams, that does a lot of work for us. And he takes care of them. He'll get that listed. And on top of that, I don't even get part of his commission. There's a new law in Texas. So really, I'm telling you, it comes from the heart. And by doing business that way, folks, you'll know that you'll be performing higher than all those fake it to make it individuals in your local market. Any of you here that have real estate experience right now, you know that there's a wholesaling pandemic. So many people out there look, out of 229 real estate transactions, only 2 of them have been from a wholesaler. That's a little bit of an issue, right? And so that's why if you get with our group and you go through that block of instruction, there's no reason why you can't dominate your market. There's no reason. Moving forward, I hit on that because I'm a little frustrated with the laws that are, being put in place in states like Chicago, Oklahoma that have to do with wholesaling. Because if people keep doing the wrong thing out there, more and more states will, enact that law as well. They'll just follow right in line. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about this deal. I just want everybody to know that I haven't really even digested this deal myself. So this is really good for not just me to go through, but also for you. Now, here it is, 2709 Timberline Drive. And I'm going to do something for y'all. There's a lot of fake it to make it out there, right? I'm the type of guy, I'm an executive. I have to have proof. All right, so I'm going to show you some proof. Oops, I just went to photos there. Excuse me. All right, so Bell County Appraisal District. Here's one of my entities. All right, I have an S Corp. I have some LLCs under that. If I ever feel like a deal is a little wish-washy, I'll put it over here in this LLC, like the subject to existing financing rental that we picked up. The seller was a little shady. I have it all the way over here in its own LLC. This one in its own LLC. And I flip a lot of houses in my straight up S Corp as well. But I do mitigate some risk and spread some things out. It's kind of the smart thing to do. So Firstified LLC, that's a military term. I already told you I'm prior military. And we'll bring you over here to my email. We definitely need to come back to this. So let me duplicate the tab. Let me duplicate this. And you know what? I don't even care what you see in my email. Full transparency, 2709 Timberline Drive. For, all the flips that I do, I have its own email tab because everything that's associated with that transaction that comes through via email goes right into that email folder. So that way I can quickly access it. If my CPA or attorney asks for something, I just send it right over to them. All right. So let's go ahead and click on this folder. Now you can tell that this is an interesting deal because there's never this much correspondence between title, my agent, offers. This is where it's getting interesting. All right, here's the Alta. We'll go ahead and pull that up. Here's some more proof for you. Bam, here we go. Firstified LLC right there. All right, moving forward. Here it is, Timberline Drive. This is one of those deals where I didn't take before and after pictures, and I'll tell you why. This was a really fast deal. So this lady here replied to some attraction marketing. That means the deal comes to you versus you going to it. Remember how I told you I like working with serious distressed sellers because it gives me my sense of purpose back? You're going to experience working with truly distressed sellers whenever you bring the lead to you. All right, that could be just stabbing a bandit sign in the ground. All right, that could be a billboard like this one was a banner on the side of my truck. All right, so attraction marketing, bring in the lead to you. And I'm not the type of guy with a bunch of text message. I am the youngest, old schoolest guy you will ever meet. I'm a pen and paper type guy. I'm a pick up the phone and call somebody type guy. I don't really like texting. And you know what? That's probably a good thing in today's world. Would anybody agree with that? You see all the click funnels, you see all the text systems. There's a lot of people out there that just want to talk to a person. And so that's the type of business model that I run. She replied to some marketing. We went over there, and at first I took a stab at, well, hold on. At first, you're going to get their why. All right, I got a little bit of that why over the phone. There was a lot of pre-vetting to make sure I'm not going to waste my time going over to this house. And that's one of those exact things that I told her. Hey, I might not be your best option, but I can be your most convenient option. And if that doesn't work, I'm still going to help you. So I figured out a little bit of her why. They wanted to get an RV. Well, they had an RV. They want to pay it off and go travel the world. There's a lot of people doing that right now, just so everybody's tracking. And so at first, we tried to take a stab at creative financing with seller financing to turn it into, cash flow and property. But I could just tell she wanted the cash offer. I felt her out while I was over there talking to her. And I hit her with it. It was a good offer. And, I made her aware about everybody else that she might get an offer from and how they're going to bring it to me. Right? I'm a large buyer in the Fort Hood market. I know just about everybody. And so a lot of these individuals will lock these folks up under contract and bring it to me anyways, so I can tell them, no, you didn't do it right. I made her aware of that. You know what? I did it. You should too. If you're a cash buyer and a fix and flipper and you're in a market like that, where there's a lot of individuals not doing the right things out there, you should tell them. You know what my negotiations are? Being honest. That's it. Is that a great way to negotiate? Right? People know if you're full of crap. I promise you. So if you're just out there doing the right thing and you're honest, your negotiations are going to be powerful. So what do we pick it up for? $79,500. This is, as you can tell, let me scroll down here. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,060 square feet. That's a good little home in the Fort Hood market. Very affordable, under $200,000, which is insane right now. It's crazy. It's crazy that this house sold for $165,000. But I want to talk to you guys about the weirdest offers I've ever gotten. And does anybody here know what a wholesale is? So this is a fix and flip, but we looked at it as a wholesale. That means that you're going to buy a property, maybe, do a deep cleaning on it and put it right back on the MLS and sell it. All right. So in this scenario, what we did is, we're not really strapped for cash or to get it done super, super quick. This is an easy transaction. What we did is we went in there. Let me go ahead and go through the pictures. That might help you.
Hey, Ryan, hey, this is Keith. Before you go into, showing that, man, you just unpacked a whole lot of information. So I just wanted to just, for the folks, this is their first time, being on the call. I understand the language because, we come from the same school, but if I just want to just, for everybody who just coming on board, we have some people who came on late, a veteran in the military, you're out there in Texas, and you care about people. And so like things you talked about, hey, you have a business, right? You talked about, you have the sellers come to you, right? So your strategy, you like fix and flip. You tell the truth and you care. And then you were talking about the deal, but before you go a little further, you had a conversation with the owner and you said, but can you just unpack just a little bit? Why did she choose you? I know you tell the truth, but just unpack just a little bit. Why did she choose you? Why? I mean, the market is hot, but she still sold it to you. If you don't mind sharing.
Yeah. So convenience. I make it so convenient for sellers. It's insane. All right. Hit them with the cash offer, her with the cash offer. And you know what, Keith? If you don't have the money in the bank and you try to tell somebody you're going to buy their house cash, you got to realize people are not stupid. They feel your vibes. If you're doing something shady, they will know. So the truth, Keith, is really what sealed the deal. All right, I'm telling you, it's the way you say it. It's the way you lay it out. It's the way you care. That's what made her choose me over anybody else. That makes sense. I mean, I can't really remember every facet of that conversation. Everybody should know that I actually had brain surgery 3 years ago. I woke up one morning, had 2 seizures, a stroke. They found out I had brain cancer. I had brain surgery. You guys ready for this? I wholesaled the deal right out of my hospital bed after brain surgery to a girl named Marsha Urian that's in our community. I threw that out there so that way you can fact check that, right? 10 grand, boom, right out of the hospital bed. But did that answer your question, Keith?
Yeah, no, it did. And again, I appreciate that because it's showing that you care, but you also met her timeline. Was she underneath the gun? Was there a certain time frame that this had to happen?
She just wanted it to be fast. As a matter of fact, her daughter was living here too, and you could tell that there was some get out of my house type thoughts.
Family stress, right?
Yeah. Not that she totally cared about her daughter. I mean, who buys a house and lays their daughter up in it? Right? She cared, but at this time, she was like, it's time for you to move on. I'm gonna get in the RV and go travel the world with my husband. So she owed like 60 grand on their RV, and that's really why they wanted a cash offer. And I found that out through asking why, at least 5 times while I was there talking to her. And every time that you ask that, you just stop and listen. Just an awkward silence. Sometimes it could be very awkward, but they're going to keep talking. When you do that, they are going to keep talking and they're going to reveal their why. And it had everything to do with her daughter and that RV. She wanted to get this done. All right. She had plenty of other options, though. Everybody here knows that there's no inventory, high demand. And we're going to talk about the offers on this house that show you that. All right. So everything looked just like this except for the paint. We painted the house. The siding right here, you see how it's kind of beat up there at the bottom? Now, whenever somebody uses a VA loan or an FHA loan, you can't have any wood rot on there. So we did replace this piece here. Replace the front door. Oh, and by the way, we replaced this piece right here after pictures. I actually got a little lazy and I forgot to, replace that. But that's okay. The appraiser caught it. And then I just sent my guys right back out there to get it knocked out. And you guys, I am talking about this in a way that makes it sound easy. And there's just, it's hard for me to talk about it any other way because I've done so many deals. So work with me on that. New front door. That's the first thing that people see whenever they walk in. Why would we not spend a couple $100, put a new front door in there? All right, it's easy. This house, we put an accent wall in right here, and then the rest of the house is painted this color right here. Now, on the windowsills, there was black up in here. So all the windowsills, we had to go back and paint. That's what brought on this whole paint thing. We really didn't need to paint, but there was so much black in the windowsills all throughout the house. That's not going to fly. I'm going to get that painted. This right here was all just regular colored wood. We just decided to paint it. We're not putting a whole bunch of repairs on this property. It was ready to rock and roll. We just want to make it a little bit nicer, get to sweeten up the offers. That's why the rehab budget was only $2,500. And you might be like, well, Ryan, how do you get these guys to paint this house for $2,500? It's because I make our contractors a lot of money. All right. So whenever you start getting deal flow, what's called deal flow, my AC guy gives me an AC unit at $3,500 whenever he could charge $8,000. Right? Because I have made Gabe, my AC guy, hundreds of thousands of dollars just from people that know me. All right. So I do expect there to be a little love there in that capacity. They were already working on a deal in Burnet, Texas that was huge, and they're getting paid a lot of money on it. Took them off the job for 4 days to come over here and knock this out at a very affordable price. Didn't have to do all this, but we did. The floors were here, tile was here, countertops were there, fixtures were there. We just did paint. Oh, did we put a new sink in? No, same sink, same stove, same countertops. Don't go into fix and flips and think that you're gonna go put a bunch of granite countertops in there. You can paint the walls gold and it's still gonna be worth what the market determines through your comparables. Let me just scroll through these and see what else I changed. Oh.
So Ryan, so one of the things as a fix and flip, as you was going through and you were identifying things, it sounds like you built a team. So did you know how to do that at the very beginning, or did you learn how to do that?
I learned how to do that through this community. And matter of fact, Keith, I probably had to build a team faster than anybody on this call because I had to help my parents. I was just 6 months into this. And so I was getting my fix and flip knowledge on with our group very, very quickly. I built a team, and I know how to build teams very well now. So I can go out there and do a line. Look, folks, I'm going to get into something real fast, Keith. Every deal that we do, we have a line item bid. Everybody burn this into your brain right now. You are never doing a fix and flip unless you use what's called a line item bid. All right, that means that wall work is one line item. They go in there and knock out the wall work, you visually inspect it, and you cut the check for that one item. Light fixtures, that's one line item. You're providing the material, by the way. You can go rent a truck at Home Depot. You can bring one of your contractors with you to go shopping, deliver it to the deal, and you're never paying a contractor anything up front. There is absolutely zero reason for anybody to get paid anything up front. And why should your contractors love this? The more line items they knock out, the faster they get paid. It keeps them from screwing me, and it actually keeps me from screwing them. It's a line item bid. I have worked with a lot of distressed investors this year, more than I've never seen distressed investors like in our market right now. And this guy just lost his whole life savings because he missed one simple step, and that's a line item bid. He had a contractor run off with all of his money. So burn that into your brains, folks. And as far as building a team, you got to vet a lot of contractors. You pick up a deal, have 5 of them go over there. You're going to see how they appear, right? Are they squared away? They got their work clothes on? Are they presentable? What do they roll up in? I'm not judging somebody as if you're being rude to people out there. This is a business. Does this guy have a pickup truck, right? Or is he rolling up in his Chrysler 300? You can't put these 4x4s in there. Anyways, you build a team, you vet contractors. You'll know if they're the right one or not. You're not looking for the cheapest, and you're not looking for the most expensive. All right. So did that answer your question, Keith?
No, it did. And man, you were just dropping nuggets after nuggets after nuggets, because what I'm hearing is you built a win-win. So you learned how to do this, right? Because you had your why. And with your why and with the education and with the community, you found a system and a process that's duplicatable. So what I'm hearing from you is you saying, hey, Ryan Dodge had done this deal, had done multiple deals, but it's also duplicatable. And everybody who's on this Zoom meeting can do the exact same thing. Matter of fact, if you have a question for Ryan, just go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll make sure that Ryan can get to it. But hey, Ryan, hey, this is awesome. Hey, and if you don't mind, I like how you said, you have people do the line item bid. I like that. I wrote that down. I like that. Thank you for sharing.
That is the most important thing that I'll share today about fix and flips. And the reason why I say it's the most important, even though it sounds stupid little, that is the number one thing that you'll lose money when it comes to contractors. Line item bid. And if you lose a whole rehab budget, your deal is done. Your deal is done. All right. Now we run our business off a worst case scenario. We're going to back up to the beginning of analyzing this deal. We did get this deal at 70% of ARV minus repairs. How many of you hear people right now that are like, you can't find 70% deals? That's a lie. They're out there. All right. That's just the individuals that don't know what they're doing. So we got this at 70% of after repair value minus repairs. Actually, I think it was below 70%. We have a lot of oh crap money in there. So on big deals, if you like our last deal, $106,000 in profit. It was a huge house, close to 4,000 square feet. And it was a huge rehab budget. If we lost that budget, we'd be in trouble because we'd have to raise more capital. But it was $106,000 in profit, so we would have been safe. All right, we run our business off a worst case scenario. We never bank on appreciation. All right, we don't go to auction and buy houses 90% of ARV. That was the last auction I went to, Keith. They were buying houses at 90% of ARV. It's not happening in my world. I'm not in business to lose money. All right, so let's get back to the numbers. Rehab budget 2,500, holding cost 5,000, closing costs are 10,000. We sold it at 165, and then we had a credit back for $2,000 for our agents in the state. It's holding them accountable. And how I get the comps for all my deals and how I work with agents is they'll run the CMA on the front end and then they'll get the listing on the back end. It holds their feet to the fire. And why would they be motivated to do that with me? Because they get the listing at the end. Right? They're going to take 20 minutes of their time to put together an in-depth CMA. We're just going to do the deal, knock it out. And at the end, they're going to be the listing agent. That's why they're motivated to work for me and why they do so many CMAs for me. Why would I spend my time doing that whenever I should be focused on the next deal? Now, there is something you need to hear me out on here. They need to be a performing real estate agent, literally an expert in your area. I'm sure you all know that there's a lot of real estate agents out there, right? You have to find a performing agent. Now we're going to talk about the interesting aspects of this deal. What I haven't seen in the past 7 years. 7 years. We're going to go to my email here. And while you guys are staring at this hard money pre-approval letter, I'll talk about it. Our first
we don't see that just yet. We don't see it just yet. If you're not sharing it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, so our first offer was traditional. It was like a month and a half into this offer. Like, this is the one. We're going to close, no problem at all. Right now, there's people out there shotgunning offers. That means that they're putting like 3 houses under contract, and when it's said and done, they're going to go with the one they want to go with. But they have backups. There's agents that are coaching their folks to do this. And so what happened is right at I think it was the last week, they were like, hey, you didn't get over the seller's disclosure in time. There's a little piece on the contract right there that says you're going to get the seller's disclosure there in X amount of time. Well, Brian Adams, our agent, is the best out there, but he made a mistake, right? He got that over on like day 5 when it was supposed to be day 3. So they got out of the contract, and I'm telling you folks, I was heated. I was so mad, and you know what? If they didn't have that little escape clause there, I might have had a nasty letter sent to them by my attorney. I wouldn't have sued them, but that was not cool. Right? Who does that? Who messes with people's lives like that? But anyways, that was a weird scenario. But it got even more weird. The next 2 offers were hard money offers. I have never in 7 years see somebody try to buy my fix and flip after it's done with hard money. The numbers don't even make sense. It's retail value. It's at the peak of the market. All right. And so who of you would have just went with the next offer? You're already behind on your timeline. You're using money for your holding costs, right? Maybe you only borrowed money for 2 months, 3 months, but it went out to 4 months, and then you're gonna pay more for that money, that private money. I think that I might have considered this offer. Actually, I did. Looking back, I kind of considered it, but what I wanted to see, this is genius. With this offer right here, $120,000 is what they're going to get, 75% of the LTV. They're going to purchase it at 160. What does that mean? There's a gap there. They gotta come up with some money. So you know what I did? I told them I want to see their money. Literally, I was like, I want to see your bank account with the money in it that you're going to close with. They never got back to me. You know, that would have been more time wasted. More time wasted. Anybody that, you know, that isn't educated would just look at this and be like, oh, I got another offer. I wanted to see that money in their bank account. They never even got back to us. Now, the second one, we got a second hard money offer right after that. They got rude. They got rude with us. I told them I want to see the money in their bank account. I had to eventually just tell them to kick rocks. And I'm never involved, me directly with the buyer. And at this point, it got to that, I was talking to the buyer. Told them to kick rocks. That's a problem out there right now. You got to really, really, really be looking at your offers very carefully. All right. And so at that point, I was a little discouraged because a house like this and any other given year would have been under contract, full asking with a super solid offer within like the first day or two in this market. This is pretty awkward because we have low inventory, high demand, but this house is sitting here for a couple months. It's a little stressful, a little embarrassing, but you know, I thought on it and I thought on it, and it simply boils down to individuals going out there and shotgunning offers. And then you have individuals out there that are picking up properties reckless. They're being reckless, right? This is how people lose money in real estate. This is how individuals get a bad taste of real estate in their mouth and they never do it again. It's because they're out there and they don't know what they're doing. They watched a couple YouTube videos. They figured out that you can just get a pre-approval from a hard money lender any day of the week. Look, folks, I can call up right now a hard money lender that I don't even know and get a pre-approval letter. I've done it. I've done it many a times. That's what
Okay,
that
so
is.
hey Ryan, so I was just curious, right? So I saw that you purchased it at what you said 79, right? And then your rehab. So your rehab was really pretty much your windows, going through looking at your windows and the bottom of the house where you had to, you said the inspector said you had to fix.
Yeah, which I knew that was going to happen.
Wow. And then you say you also calculated your holding costs and your closing costs that came along with it. So again, all of this information, you learned how to do that, right?
Yes. So this is what I love about this community. I am the type of guy that simplifies things. It has to be the right information. I have to have a direct path from somebody that I know is out there leading by example and then execute. That's what this community provides, is that you get your orders from the right people. No more YouTubing, no more split in 15 different directions trying to figure something out. Those days are behind you when you get going with our group. And so I get my orders, go execute. That is how I created success in this business. I'm not an analytical guy, folks. I hate math. I can't stand it. I do cowboy math. All right. Whenever the deal comes down to the line where I have it under contract, I'm really, really going to look at them numbers at that point in time. It's usually my least favorite part of the process. But I do like looking at the profit. That keeps me motivated. But yeah.
Yeah, so there's a question in the chat. So Evan was asking, like, I guess he missed, that part about your 70% rule. I guess he was kind of asking, not how, but is that the method that you pretty much use, your 70% rule when you look at a property?
It's definitely going to depend on your market, but check this out. There's deals out there, 70% after repair value in California. Right? I don't care what in New York. There really is those deals out there, and you have so many people right now discouraging you and telling you that they're not out there, and that's because they're the YouTube babies. Right? You find out how to do it the right way, you will find deeply discounted properties. So yeah, let me get back to that question. In this market, your max allowable offer, this is a very, very standard formula, all right? And you could lose money in certain markets because you just can't compete, period, at all whatsoever. But in this market, 70% of after repair value minus repairs equals your max allowable offer. If you follow that, you shouldn't be making any, you shouldn't be losing any money. It's a conservative number. But I get properties at 30% of ARV, 40% of ARV, 50% of ARV. And a lot of the times it's a convenience thing. The last deal that we did was probate, but brought to me by the unicorn wholesaler. The second one I did with her, the unicorn. Hold your unicorns close. But anyway, she picked it up probate. The kids were very well off, very, very well off. They just wanted convenience. They didn't want to go through mom and dad stuff. All they wanted was convenience, and that was $106,000 in profit.
We have another question. Somebody was asking about, how do you buy with hard money lender? I don't think you bought this with a hard money lender. You were talking about how the hard money lenders were trying to purchase your property after you have done what you've done. So, and then another question came in is, can you say the formula again? So I know there's a lot of information that Ryan is sharing, and at least for me, I'm taking notes, and it's kind of hard to remember everything. So right after this meeting, there is a live introductory to how did Ryan get started? How did I get started? How do a lot of investors, this community piece that Ryan keeps talking about in education, that's going to be at the top of the hour. So whoever invited you to this meeting, contact them and says, hey, I want to go to the next meeting right after this. I need the Zoom link. I need to be registered because I'm writing out a lot of notes, but I want to know how to get started. I just want to, Ryan, he resonated with me. I've been over here with YouTube I've been online this, and then as next thing I know, years has gone by and I haven't done a deal, but the way Ryan is explaining it, it sounds simple and duplicatable. And the answer, it is. And that's where you're going to learn about that meeting that's coming up right after this. So just ask the person who invited you to this meeting, I need to be registered for that meeting. And we'll see you at the top of the hour for that one. But I know, hey, Ryan, we're almost towards the end, but I'll let you go ahead and say a couple more things.
While we wrap this up, let me just show them what my life looks like right now. Let me just show you guys what my life looks like right now. It's very, very different. This is the life that I used to live right here. I told you I had a robust career. Here's a guy that's been in for his whole life, and here's Sergeant Dodge, who's in for 4.5 years. All right, very, very robust. And because of this community, here's where I'm at now. I have traveled across the nation showing people how to get things done. You just caught Ryan Dodge on a morning where I'm actually not even feeling well at all. All right. And so, look, if you want to make an impact in the world, our community is the way to go. Now, one thing I'd like to show you guys, just one more thing here. I got to find the slide. I got to really, really help you. This is a bunch of training right here that I lay out for folks. Oh, here it is right here. I got to show you guys this. Because of flipping houses, because of real estate investing, I'm living the life that I've wanted to live since I was a little kid. I live in a lake house. I'm a water baby. I like boating. I like hunting. I like fishing. I can hunt in my own yard. Whenever my son says, Daddy, fish, fish, here's a buck out of my own yard. Any hunters on here? I like to eat what I kill. But anyways, we got the pond in the front yard, and then 400 yards past that is the lake. And whenever my son says, Daddy, fish, fish, on a Monday morning, we get to go fishing. And the shop right here to the right is my muscle car. It's a 1975 Dodge Dart Swinger with the 440 big block. And then
we have to change your slide. Oh, is in the house?
Yeah, you see that?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
And then behind the house is my boat, right? So I'm living the life that I've always wanted to live because of real estate investing. That house is paid for, right? Which you can HELOC it, go out and get more properties. That's a cool thing, right? So anyways, I became a homeowner twice because of this community. My first home that I ever lived in, I bought for $18, subject to existing financing, which you're gonna learn how to do it the right way with our group. Made her existing payments $500 a month for 3.5 years. My apartment in Austin was $1,400. The 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1-acre lot house that we moved into was $500 a month. That was her mortgage payment, but I took deed and ownership. After 3.5 years, we sold it and made $87,000. Life is different for us. I fired my wife's boss the second year. She's a stay-at-home mom. And it's all because of the meeting that you guys should be going to right after this. It's a scary thing, Keith, just to think that I could have, one, not read that Craigslist ad that led me to the meeting, and two, I got hung up on talking to the guy about the meeting because I was really, really rude. And if he didn't send me over an email with an invite, I don't know where I'd be at in life right now. And that's a scary thought for me. So everybody do yourself a favor and please go to that introduction and then come to another one.
If you don't mind putting up your last slide, your money slide that talks about the profit. Again, hey, Ryan, thank you for sharing your why. Right.
Here's the numbers again. Are you ready? I don't have it on the screen. $79,500 is the purchase price. The rehab, $2,500. The holding cost, $5,000. The closing cost, $10,000. We sold it at $165,000. By the way, that holding cost includes private money. So we sold it at 165, and then the $2K mistake from the agent. So by the way, he credited that back because he knows he took full responsibility for his mistake, and that's a good agent to be around. So we profited around $66,000 on a deal that I really didn't do much. Like I don't ever swing a hammer on my deals. Not ever.
Wow. I mean, Right. I'm gonna have to get a new notebook because of the nuggets that you dropped and just to share with the community. And again, as a veteran myself, first, you are the real deal. As we met in Utah, we took pictures together. We broke bread together. Again, thank you for what you do. And I understand how it is when we have to humble ourselves to realize we don't know everything. And we know where we want to go. We don't know how, but just like you're saying, you answered that ad. I did the exact same thing. I ate that humble pie and says, you know what? In life, I learned to be able to do things. I had to learn and I had to just do it. And it's not just learning, it's doing. And when you shared this property tour, I thank you for that, because what it does, it kind of goes back to keeping things simple. Like you like to have things simple, and I do too, right? When we was in grade school and we had to stand in front and we bring something that was important to us and we shared it with people, right? And you knew exactly what it was because it was yours. And as you shared your project with us, and you're like, well, I didn't really do a lot, but you learned so much to be able to put that deal together that it was simple for you, so your family could benefit, your community of people who was on that deal. It was a win-win-win, so much that even your agent who said, hey, I made a mistake, still wanted to make things right because of the way you learn and how you systematically put things together. And you're right, people love to be around winners. And so your team definitely, even your investors, private money lenders who says, you know what, I trust Ryan. They do their due diligence, you do your due diligence. There's no shortcuts, but you still get it done. And amen, I sure do appreciate that for everything that you do, sharing this. You didn't have to do this, but you did. And there's a lot of nuggets. So there's some folks out there who say, you know what, I just want to eat that humble pie too. And I just want to just move forward. Join the next meeting right after this. We're coming towards the end, but Ryan, I want to let you have the last words. If you want to say anything, or if Scott Buckles, you out there, thank you for putting this vineyard together. Because if it wasn't for you, Ryan wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. You do this every Saturday. So I had to pause because I'm not a big numbers guy, so I was counting fingers and toes and then had to pull up the calendar. If this happens every Saturday, there's like over 50 something Saturdays. I say something because I didn't want to put a finite number in there because it changes over the year. At least in 2020, 2021, when the pandemic is hitting, Scott Buckle was still putting together these property tours. That means people were buying houses and doing these things. So again, Ryan, thank you for you doing it, Scott Buckles. But Ryan, I'm gonna turn it over to you. And Scott, if you want to say something, so we can go ahead and close this meeting.
Thank you so much. Let's just go ahead and close it out. You're amazing. I love all my battle buddies in this community. I'm going to get us that picture that we took on stage. I'm going to get that.
There you go, man. There you go. Hey, well, everybody, thank you for being here. It's been awesome. Hey, next Saturday, we have another property tour, and just ask the person, go to the next meeting, be part of it, execute, learn, implement. That's what we do. Y'all have a good night.